So first of all, I want to thank everybody for having me and being able to talk about my experience with camp. My mom said to me, she said, "I think it's hilarious they're still asking you to speak." Thank you. Anyway, so as I am now, I am a confident, outgoing, headstrong young woman. But contrary to popular belief, I wasn't always that way. There was a time in my life when I was really questioning who I was and why I was who I was. Granted, this is a period that we all go through, but for me and for many other young people who deal with the hardships of living with a serious illness, it happened at far too young of an age. I was born with a very rare digestive disorder called microvillus inclusion disease. It took many doctors and trips to different hospitals before I was finally diagnosed. My parents were young, terrified, and heartbroken when they were told I would not live past the age of 2, a death sentence for their new baby. Even with that in mind, they taught and showed me how to live life without my illness taking priority. "We'll find a way," they always said, as we went camping with IV poles, put my wheelchair on a merry-go-round, and signed me up for a dance class with my fellow 5-year-olds. It was around 2nd grade that after a very serious leg operation that had me in a wheelchair and out of school most of that year, that I started to go, "Hey, this doesn't really seem fair right now. Why aren't any of my friends going through this?" I started to get really frustrated and depressed. It was at that point that I realized I wanted one thing: to go to summer camp. A pretty minimal request, right? For any kid to want to have a few days away from mom and dad in the woods. Why not? But how about when you need to be hooked up to an IV for 12 hours a day and monitored for dehydration or infection? Not so easy. As I kept getting turned down from camps, I actually told my parents, "You know, I wish I had cancer, then I could go to these camps." And that was when the Hole in the Wall Gang camp entered and proceeded to change my life. My parents had called all the camps we had heard of for children with illnesses, and being in Maine, the Pine Tree State, vacation land, there were quite a few. But none of them wanted to touch me or my illness with a 10-foot pole. Finally, after hearing about the Hole in the Wall Gang camp from a staff member at our hospital, my mother took one last attempt and filled out the application. And our whole family was welcomed with open arms. In that week as a camper, I was filled with more love, encouragement, and positivity than I could fit in a car to come home with me. I was reminded who I was and that I had so much to give despite my illness. That was 18 years ago. Since then, my younger sister with the same diagnosis has gone from camper to full summer staff. My parents have volunteered, and I currently serve on the alumni board. In addition to my involvement with camp, my real grown-up job has me realizing that I am carrying the torch of Paul Newman's desire for change every day. Although it was not the path I ever imagined for myself, I have ended up in the world of national advocacy and policy change for young adults with disabilities and special health needs. We all know that camp is, as some would say, heaven on earth. But my dream is for our children with serious illnesses to grow up into strong, confident young adults with serious illnesses, and to be able to live their lives every day with the inner strength they have on that stage at camp or while climbing the tower. We have a lot of work to do, but it can start here with all of you, and you never know what one week at camp could do for one child. They may be one of our future leaders carrying the torch. So with that, I would love to thank you for being here and for wanting to carry that torch across the finish line. So let's kick it off and raise a little hell. Woo!